We welcome you to another episode of The Steam Room. Ernie Johnson and Charles Barkley. Thanks for tuning us in, folks. Chuckster, it's been a draining week, has it not?
It's been the craziest thing. I've been in the NBA since 1984. The only other time I've been this depressed is when Magic Johnson announced that he had HIV. I cried that night. And I cried when I heard the news about Kobe. And it's been surreal, draining, sad, happy. When I say happy, I mean, when we were in LA, just the outpouring of love for that man, those fans chanting his name for, actually it's like almost four days now. That made me happy that, I think when everybody passes, you want people to say you made a difference, not in the world. And like I say, but I have made a conscious effort to I've got to stop feeling gloomy.
Right.
I saw Vanessa put a post out. That made me feel better. Because at some point you got to stop. Now, you don't ever stop grieving, but you got to go on living. And I think, Ernie, I did not do any interviews this week consciously because, number one, I didn't know what to say. I apologize to all my friends who on all the TV and radio that I didn't know what to say. And also, I want to thank every person who texted me saying they were thinking about me. I mean, hundreds of my friends text me, people that I've been associated with, because they know that this hurt us as a family, as an NBA family. And I want to thank every person who took time to text me. It meant a lot. I didn't get back to everybody, but I really appreciate them taking time. But also, like I said, I want to apologize to every reporter who texted me, every radio show. I just didn't want to. I didn't know what to say.
And that was part of the situation on Tuesday night when we did our show from Los Angeles, was that we were hearing from you for the first time.
Yeah.
We were hearing from Shaquille O'Neal for the first time.
And I've had, Ernie, let me tell you this. I've had 30 people who are close to me saying they started crying watching Jerry West.
Oh.
And I was like, and we were sitting there, and you got a man who had one of the best lives ever, was totally just upset. But I had so many people says, man, you guys thank all the guys at TNT for getting Jerry West on the show, because even though it was painful, it made me feel something.
Yeah, Chuck, the whole process of grieving and trying to come to grips with something that jarring.
Yeah.
And how you process it, I think it helped us to be able to talk about it as our group.
Mm-hmm.
And if you see Jerry West, the man who made the draft night deal to get Kobe Bryant because he saw something in that kid's game, and was like a father to him for a period of his life, then you appreciate just how painful it has been for him. And the stories that Rick Fox and Derek Fisher told, and Reggie Miller and D. Wade, and
I'm glad we did that.
From beginning to end, it was just remarkably powerful.
So now, like I say, okay, now we got to get back to living. You can still grieve, but you have to keep living. We have to keep living. And, my thoughts and prayers with Vanessa and the girls, but also those other 7 families who, it's interesting for me when you're in the limelight, when something like this happens, because you don't get to grieve privately. I mean, because every time you turn on the TV, there's something. Everybody who sees you say, man, says something to you. Like when my mom died, my grandmother died, when 2 of my brothers died. Like, I was like, okay, I'm ready to get on with my life. But even though people were trying to be helpful, every time they said something, I was like, yo, man, I'm trying to forget about it. And I know they were trying to be helpful, but it's those 7 other families, man. I just think about them and like, I don't want them to be forgotten because, man, they're, it was just a painful thing.
You know, on our show, Shaq likes to talk when he's breaking down the first half of a game about the contribution of the others.
Yes.
He talks about the others all the time, and that's something we've heard when this horrible tragedy is described of Kobe and Gianna and 7 others.
Yeah. That's what, and I hate that when it happens because that always happens when a celebrity dies on something like that.
Those others were John Altobelli and his wife Carrie and his daughter Alyssa, Sarah Chester and her daughter Peyton, the pilot Era Zabayan, and there was Christina Mauser, who was a wife and mother of 3. Her husband is Matt Mauser, and in a moment, we will be speaking with Matt. And we invite you to stay right here with us as the steam room continues. The helicopter crash, the tragic crash on Sunday, took 9 souls. One of them, Christina Mauser, a wife and mother of 3, and her husband, Matt Mauser, has been gracious enough to join us here on our podcast. Can't thank you enough for taking some time. Matt, have absolutely no idea of what you are going through on a minute-to-minute basis, but thank you so much for doing this, and I know you're a basketball fan. I'd like to introduce you to Charles Barkley.
Wow. Chuck, how are you, man?
Man, listen, we are all grieving, not as much as you are, but we're all grieving. I just want to ask you, describe your wife to us.
Oh, man. Well, when I first met Christina, the first thing that struck me was that she was beautiful. I was like, man, she was tall. She had beautiful dark hair. She looked like she just flew in from Hawaii. She's just this beautiful woman. And that's always, a positive. But then once I got to know her, it just got so intense because she was everything that she was like a best friend. She was so smart, so kind, so funny, but even more than that, and this sounds, you guys might relate, but she was an amazing athlete. And she was quick, she was strong, she could shoot from anywhere as far as basketball went. I mean, she was just deadly. But the thing that really impressed me about Christina in all aspects of her life was she was just tenacious. She was a warrior.
How'd you meet? How'd you meet, Pat?
Well, like I said the other night on TV, we were at a bar. I was a singer in a band, and we were playing some bar, 16 years ago, and she walked in, and she walked up to me, and it was during a break, and she goes, "When are you getting back up?" And I said, "Well, when we're done talking." So we talked for a little bit, and then she asked me what my type was, and I said, "You're my type," and then that was it. We were on.
Matt, that's pretty smooth, man.
I'll mess around. When you see what you want, you go.
Tell me about your basketball career. I know you're a basketball fan. I know she was an athlete. So tell me about your basketball career and your skills compared to Christina's.
Well, so I was a swimmer and I was a water polo player. I swam in college and played water polo in college. I was a good swimmer, good water polo player. But I love basketball. I used to play it, in college. I would play it every chance I got. It was just awesome. I just fell in love with basketball. And this was like, I'm a Lakers fan. So this is back in the early 90s, when Magic and Kareem, the late 80s, and when Magic and Kareem were working. And so I'd play every day. But when I met Christina, I realized just how limited I was in basketball compared to my wife. She was just a friggin' stud, man. She was a stud.
So you have 3 girls?
No, I have 2 girls. I have a 11-year-old, a 9-year-old son, and then a 3-year-old daughter. Yeah, soon to be 4. She'll be 4 next week. She'll be 4, I believe, on the 4th. I think that's Wednesday.
I know this is I'm not even sure how to answer this question. How are your kids processing this situation?
No, Chuck, it's such a good question, and that's really the most important thing. And I'm just trying to be there for my kids. There's so much going on. There's so much going on with the media and everybody wanting your attention. The fact that Christina was associated with KB, and so it was. But my focus has to be on my kids. So every morning, I just give them a hug, and I tell them, "This hug's for Mom." I said, "This hug's for me, and let's cry." And we sit down and we cry, and we get together at night and we cry. And the 3-year-old's a little different, but for the older ones, I just kind of can tell when they're going through something, and I just grab them and I hug them and we cry. And what I equated to? My kid brought this up. She said, it's kind of like throwing up. Like you're afraid to throw up, when you're feeling like it's coming on, you're afraid to throw up. But then when you throw up, it feels better.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. What has it been like for your friends, or to see, Matt, the way your friends have surrounded you in this time?
It's I was thinking about this, and losing a wife is just horrible. It's just horrible. But I know that there are, Kobe, Gianna, the Chesters, the Altobellis. We love them. And so there was a lot of people suffering. So even though we lost our wife, a lot of people are suffering. And it's interesting because a lot of people have lost somebody and it's just their family. They just lose one person. And they suffer, and many times they suffer alone. So as hard as it is, there's almost a silver lining in the fact that everybody else is suffering as well. And I know it's not great that everybody's suffering, but it does help ease the blow because people have reached out to us so much. It takes the pain away of just a little bit, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. So you're a lifelong Laker fan. What was it like the first time you met Kobe?
Oh, man. First time I met Kobe was in carpool. He comes pulling up. It was his oldest daughter, Nani's, comes pulling up. I think he was in a Bentley. Or I forget. I think it was a Bentley or Mercedes. And he gets out, and I just went, "Holy crap, that's Kobe, man." And he parked right in the middle of carpool, and he walked in. And then the principal goes, "Hey, man, you need to tell him to go move his car."
You tell him.
So I go, okay. So I go, "Mr. Bryant, I'm going to need you to move your car." He just looked at me and just goes, "Okay, man." And he stayed there for like another 15 minutes.
Oh.
And then I would just see him, at all these functions. He was always there for his kids. He adored his kids, and he loved his family. And we were there when he lost. I think he was there when we lost to the Pistons. I can't remember that exactly. It was right after that. But then we were there with the 2 championships with Powell. and it was just so exciting to even see him on a day. He'd score like 45 points a night, and then be in carpool the next morning, just saying, "Hey," dropping off his kids. I mean, he was dedicated father. And so as time progressed, we got to know each other, and when his daughters grew up a little bit more, one day he asked me if he could go on a field trip. I was a Spanish teacher at the school where I was teaching. And so, you guys still there?
Yeah, so we're here.
So, hold on, So he says, "I want to go with you." So he got in the bus, and we're going down to old time San Diego, do a field trip, and I'm sitting next to Kobe, and he looks at me and he goes, "I know all about you, man." He knew all about me. He knew I was a singer. He knew I was a musician. He knew I was a Spanish teacher, and I was like, "Holy shit, this guy's got me figured out already."
Yeah.
And we just started rapping. We rapped about music. We rapped about history. Kobe grew up in Italy, so he didn't know a lot of American history. I'm a big American history buff. I'm a big music buff. I'm a big fan of music through the last 50, 60 years, and we talked about that. He was super curious. He would ask you questions about everything, and I think we just spoke normally. We just rapped, and so we got down to San Diego. We're hanging out, and the kids were on this tour, and we went out to lunch. We were having a beer. I was having a beer with Kobe Bryant. And in fact, he told me everything. He told me about championship Lakers. He told me about, his relationship with Shaq, which was hilarious. It was just surreal. And then we became friends. And then I started working for him. I did music for him. It was bizarre.
And Christina was an assistant coach for Kobe on this youth league team?
Yes, Christina and I coached our junior high school team together. And when both his girls were coming up, we were their coaches. And as it progressed, Kobe realized just how talented and bright Christina's mind was for basketball. And he could see it in the way our schemes would go, and both our offensive and our defensive schemes. He realized that, wow, Christina was – I always took the back seat. I always let Christina drive the truck because she was so much smarter than I was. And Kobe realized, and he called me one day because we had had a friendship, and he said, "Hey, I want Christina to be my assistant coach." I said, "Well, you're going to have to ask her because she's running both my jobs. She's a full-time teacher, and she's got 3 kids." He goes, "I'll take care of it." So we called her, and she quit her teaching job that same year.
Wow. So
and that's all she did.
Let me ask you this question. How are you handling your kids and watching television right now? Because obviously Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, you can't turn on any television anywhere without this accident being talked about. How are you handling that with your kids?
Yeah, we just turned everything off. We unplugged the Alexa because they got the banners going left and right. We unplugged that. They're only allowed, I give them a little bit of time on the iPads. They're only allowed to play a couple little games. And what I do is I get a lot of help. We've had a lot of people help. So people are taking them out, and friends are coming over. But as far as what you're asking, Charles, the only thing we watched was a little bit of the interview that we did on CNN, and anytime something comes up, I turn it off.
Yeah.
So it's not a lot of TV being watched right now. If you want to know the truth,
Matt, I'm going to tell you something about Charles. His go-to karaoke guy is Frank Sinatra.
My man.
And I know that's your specialty in your band, correct?
Well, I do a Frank Sinatra big band, Ernie, and we do the full big band, and we work a lot, and it's a lot of fun. But what song are we looking at?
Well, I always start out with My Way. I love karaoke, and I only sing Frank Sinatra.
My man.
I like to pride myself, calling myself Old Brown Eyes. But I love karaoke, and I only sing Frank Sinatra. And I suck at it, but it's fun.
He doesn't lie, Matt.
Well, we need to have a duel off or something. But I'm gonna take about 60 days off from singing in honor of my wife. I'm just gonna wait, and the next time I do it, it's gonna be something special for her. But we've canceled all the shows for the next couple months here. But my way is a gem. You can't go wrong with my way. Any others? Just out of curiosity.
I was in New York.
Yeah.
Obviously that. Let me ask you a question, though. You talk about, are you guys both full-time teachers at one point?
We both were, yeah.
Wow.
And then the music, my business took off, so I was going to quit, and then she got this thing with Kobe, and so she was going to stay, but Kobe made it possible for her to quit too. And then at one point we were both working for Kobe. I was writing music, and she was coaching, and it was a great life, man. We thought we had it made. We had it made. We were so happy. 3 beautiful kids. Kobe, we felt like rock stars, because of the music, and then we felt like rock stars because we'd go places with Kobe. It was just like, how quickly it goes.
When you're as you sit here in these last few days, I mean, Matt, are you asking why? What's in the forefront of your mind besides the memories you have of Christina and how you're trying to help your kids through this?
That's a good question, Ernie. And I'll be honest with you. There's so many things coming through my mind. I'm just trying to live just moment by moment. So like this interview with you guys, this feels like normal. It feels normal. And I'm trying to just put together a string of normal moments, if that makes sense.
Perfect sense.
Well, I just want to say this. I'm so glad we had you on because I didn't know y'all were both teachers. Because like they don't. I admire and respect teachers, and I'm glad to know that y'all were both teachers. And obviously, you got this music thing going. It sounded like you said it. Like we had a really, really good life. And number one, man, that is awesome. And I just want to thank you. And like I say, there's nothing that me and Ernie can say to you. There's nothing we can say. But I want to thank you for taking the time. And, man, we wish you and the house, I can't remember everybody's name. Right? Ernie got it written down. I just want to wish all the families. And that was one of the things that I said in my first release because I didn't do any TV interviews because I didn't know what to say. But I said, let's don't forget these other 7 families. And we're so honored to have you on our podcast. This is awesome for us, too, to talk to you.
Oh, man. Well, Chuck, you are a special human being. You know that? And it comes through in everything you do. And people see your heart. And I know that when you say something like that, it's sincere. And you whatever you say is perfect, man, because it comes from the heart every time you speak.
Matt, what can we do for you?
This is amazing. Just talking to you guys is amazing. So just continued support, just don't forget her. I would like to do something. My wife was a defensive specialist, and eventually I would like to start they used to call her the MOD, mother of defense. Gianna coined that term. And I would love to maybe set up a fund for people that really play defense, the right way. Because defense, like Chuck, is heart. You can be a great offensive player, but to be a great defensive player, you have to have heart. And my wife had heart. And so if we could do something like that in the future, that'd be pretty awesome.
And I know there's a GoFundMe page, the Christina Mauser Family Support Fund. We encourage you to, as you listen to this today, to check that out.
Yes, please.
And help in any way you can. And Matt, we're a phone call away, man. So you ever just need to
Vent.
Need to vent, need to talk. Just want to talk to another dad.
Oh,
Chuck and I both have experience, and
I know your story.
But we would be honored to talk to you and provide you any peace that we can. So,
you guys, it means a lot. So I really appreciate you calling, man. Just considering us and keeping us in your thoughts. It's great. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, my friend.
And next, hopefully, if we ever get to meet, ever do karaoke, Chuck, it'll be under different circumstances.
I would love to do karaoke with you. I would
be careful.
love that.
Careful what you wish for.
Here's what we're going to do. If you ever make it out here, Chuck, and we have a gig, you're going to do it in front of the big band.
That'll work for me. You gotta have the words for me though.
We'll put the words up.
Okay, I appreciate that.
God bless you, Matt. Thanks.
God bless.
Hey, Chuck, I understand there's a big football game this weekend.
Huge.
It would be the Super Bowl. What number Super Bowl is this?
54, isn't it?
54. Car 54, where are you?
Yeah, that's it. I remember that well.
Yeah. TK's here, by the way, our longtime producer.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Is there going to be a party at the Chuckster's house?
Oh, no. Going to Vegas.
Going to
Vegas for the 23rd straight year.
So that's your Super Bowl tradition.
Oh, yeah.
You would rather go to Vegas than go to the game.
Oh, yeah. So I went to one Super Bowl. It was a zoo, a madhouse. There are no real fans there. It's so corporate. And one year I went to Vegas. Now, and I watch it at Mandalay Bay in a room with 5,000 to 10,000 people. We have 400 screens. You have a big, I got about.
Are you in a cordoned off area?
Yes, like this, but I got probably another 10 to 15 chairs because it's just the guys. Because I'm up to about 15 guys.
So it's your buddies, are right?
It's my buddies.
All right.
They got any alcohol, any food you want. They feed you the whole time.
Alcohol.
The room is on fire because people have bet on every single thing. Like when they do the national anthem, people start clapping because they won the time duration. Then they do the coin flip. People start going nuts, and then the rest of the people have bet on the game in some capacity. Yeah. And I tell you what's really funny, TK and Ernie. You should see the Stampede at halftime to get to make the second half bets. It is crazy. I mean, but it's a great environment. Like I said, this is my 23rd straight year going. Love it. Can't wait to get to Las Vegas.
TK, do you have a...
we have some prop bets. Chances of these two things being in front of you during Super Bowl party, pigs in a blanket or fried kale chips.
Oh, pigs in a blanket.
Oh, no doubt.
Come on, man. Kale chips are not a thing.
Well, they are, but they're not your thing.
Well, first of all, I don't even think kale's a thing.
Well, I mean, Kenny eats it.
It doesn't exist?
No, I think kale is just lettuce. They just changed the name so they can charge you more. That's like when you go to these salad places and they got like 5 different types of lettuce. I'm like, no. There's not 5 types. It's just lettuce.
Yeah, there are different types of lettuce.
They're all the same, Ernie. They're called lettuce. They put kale on there so they can charge you more.
You're out your mind.
No, seriously. That's like organic. Organic is not a thing. Okay. It's just the only thing I think about it organic is the price.
Mm-hmm. So
that's like yoga. Yoga is nothing but stretching. They just call it yoga so they can charge you more. Mm-hmm. It's just stretching, Ernie. I've done yoga. It's just stretching.
What was it you said about the Olympic sport, the curling?
Curling is not a thing. It's called dusting. Yeah. Everybody can dust. Yeah. That's not a thing.
All right, I got to go rapid fire here. The total length of the word brave, how long is it going to take Demi Lovato to sing that word? The over-under is 5.5 seconds.
Oh, she got it. It's over. She don't do it like this. Home of the brave.
Oh, I got the over on that too.
See there? I can even listen.
I definitely got the over on
and that's
that.
the only time I'm coming out of my comfort zone of Frank Sinatra, and I held it longer than 5 seconds.
That was nice.
Hey, thank you.
Nice. It was nice. You're ready.
Sounded like an air raid.
What'll happen?
You
can go to the subways. All right. What'll happen first? A sack or a touchdown?
Sack.
All right.
Touchdown.
Patrick Mahomes
No, it's going to be a touchdown.
No, because you're going to have to go to the length of
No. San Francisco's going to receive. They're going to run the ball. They're not going to be a sack. They're going to score.
Yeah, but
and Ernie, you are with the Sharps. The Sharps agree with you.
Yeah, but there's going to be. First of all, they're not going to run the balls. They're going to put everybody in the box. They're not going to let Jimmy Garoppolo throw 6 passes in a game. They're not going to let that little mustard kid run wild like he did against the Packers.
No, we'll see.
All right, let me ask you this
You're
question.
not going to put big coin on that one.
No, I'm not.
How many times the over-under on Patrick Mahomes passing yards?
Okay.
305.
Over.
How many times this year do you think he threw for over 305 yards?
12.
9.
All
right, now, Jimmy Garoppolo, over-under is 293.
Under.
What's going to be interesting about see, that's one of the reasons I'm not a big prop bet guy. Now,
will you make some prop bets?
I do not make prop bets.
Not at all?
I will not.
Because you don't want to. Because you don't want to.
No, because I think first of all, they listen. Casinos make money on 2 things: prop bets and teasers. Mm-hmm. Those are sucker bets. So but it's interesting.
Who's your money on in the game?
I'm scared to bet the game. I have not decided yet.
You're going to go to Vegas and not bet?
I'm gonna bet.
Okay,
but
so I want to make sure.
Ernie, I got to say something. This to me might be the most difficult Super Bowl I've had to bet on in a long time because there's no way you're going.
It's hardship for him.
No. TK, I would not be surprised if either team won this game. Like, there's some games you're like, oh, that'll be a surprise.
What's the line anyway?
1.
And remember, Jimmy Garoppolo threw 7 passes?
Yeah, that's because the kid was running wild. That's why I don't like that prop bet, because if the Chiefs stack the box, they're going to remember, Garoppolo had a hell of a game when he went down to New Orleans. And if you can win a game in New Orleans against Drew Brees on the road.
I give you that.
Okay, so if they stack the box, which they're going to have to, they're going to have to stack the box. They're going to let that little kid run wild like the Packers did.
What's the over-under on Chuck saying stack the box?
Yeah, exactly. All right, Chuck, more receiving yards. Travis Kelce or George Kittle?
Ooh, that's a great one right there. Well, I hate to tell you this, TK, because I know you're going to get mad at me. I'm actually, because you get mad when I drop names. I'm actually a personal friend of Travis Kelce.
I figured that was coming.
Okay, I'm just letting you know. I don't see you guys should consider dropping names. Since you guys are nobodies, y'all don't know famous people. Famous people know other famous people. Y'all just nobodies. Y'all hang out with y'all kids. I know famous people.
You an Ope?
Oh, that's what I call her Ope. I don't call her Oprah.
All right,
we tight like that. I say, hey, Ope, how you doing?
Right.
I don't call her Oprah.
Is Barack Mr. President or is he?
Mr. President.
Is he?
Yeah, you know what? I should test Kenny's theory out on when people don't have the job anymore. Kenny gets mad at me when we're doing March Madness, because every time somebody comes in who used to be a coach, I call him coach, and he's like, he don't coach anymore. So Kenny does not believe your theory, Ernie.
I know.
So, but
I understand that, Coach.
That's actually so.
Who's going to have more receiving yards? Kelce or Kittle?
Well, since Kelsey's a personal friend of mine, but that Kittle boy's a bad boy.
Okay. You dropped his name twice.
Okay, sorry.
Within
I apologize.
8.
Is there a
that
wheelbarrow
you had to
around?
point out. You had to point out. I know him, and because he's a friend. Because we are acquainted.
If I had $1 for every time you said Steve, what's Steve? The guy who used to work for the Wizards?
Steve Buckhands.
If I had $1 for every time you talk about Steve Buckhands, I'd have like $600.
I like Buck. He's a good dude.
He's a great dude. But you drop his name.
I don't drop his name for effect. I drop his name because we're doing a Wizards game or showing a Wizards highlight.
First of all, and first of all, we shouldn't
when he was the Wizards play-by-play guy.
Listen, and there's no
and now I'm gonna get a text because he's gonna say, "Hey, thanks for talking about me on the steam room." But anyway, do you know Travis Kelce?
Yes, good friend of mine.
Yeah, I heard about him.
I call him Travis.
Do you know Jennifer Lopez?
I have met Jennifer Lopez.
I figured that. How many wardrobe changes during her halftime performance? Over, under, 2.5.
Under. I think because that show is so tight, I don't think you're gonna have that much time to change. So I'm gonna take 2 wardrobe changes.
Does it mean an entire wardrobe change, or maybe an addition to something where it makes the look different?
I don't think you have time because that thing is so choreographed. And I don't think you have time to disappear for several minutes.
Well, Janet Jackson didn't have to disappear, right?
Well, she went solo, no clothes. I like that. I like that. Shout out.
Chuck, you've had time to think about it. Final score. Who wins?
34-31. Chiefs.
Hail to the Chiefs.
Hail to the Chiefs. My good.
50 years ago.
Another good friend, Andy Reid.
Oh, here we go, Arnie.
No, I got the prediction.
Okay, go.
Because in overtime, you score a touchdown,
You win.
You win.
you win. I mean, if you
It's first
if you
score-
receive and you score a touchdown,
Right.
but if you kick a field goal, the other team gets
Yeah,
the ball.
the other team gets the ball.
Kansas City 33, San Francisco 27 in overtime.
Ooh.
Well, you cheated off half of my paper.
No, you see it.
I
See,
said
I've taken it
34.
next level.
I
It's going to
said
be
30.
overtime, and it's going to be, and it's not 34-27 because they're just going to score the touchdown, not need to kick the extra point.
So if they had to kick the extra point, I would have been right.
No, because you said 34-30, and I say 33-27.
So I hope we both right on the score, and I don't care who
All right,
wins.
50 years ago, the Chiefs played their first Super Bowl against the Packers.
Yes, of course they did.
Who was the MVP?
I know this. I know this. Do you know this?
First of all, I was only 6.
Do you know
Well,
the
it
answer?
is
Hey,
a
do you
great
know the
story
answer?
behind it.
And
I got the answer.
All right.
I know the answer.
I was only 6. How am I
Okay.
supposed to know this?
Max McGee,
Max McGee.
The tight end?
No, he was a receiver. He was going to retire.
number 85.
That's right, and he
Lifelong
was
Packer
not
fan. I
expecting
remember
to
that.
play. Not expecting to play because he was a backup. It was his last year, and he and Hornung went out that night and got so loaded that he could barely function. And on the first play of the game, the starting wide receiver got knocked out of the game, Boyd Dowler.
Right. Yep. Boyd Dowler.
And in went Max McGee and won the.
I don't think it's fair y'all ask me questions from y'all childhood.
I'm just letting you
Y'all
know, Chuck.
no, seriously.
You
y'all,
said you played a little bit under the weather a few
I'm
times.
I'm 6 years old at the time. You guys probably broadcast that game. I think that's unfair for y'all to ask me questions that happened 50 years ago. What?
One more factoid about that game.
Yes.
How many networks broadcasted?
None.
2. NBC and CBS, and they had to re-kick the second half kickoff
because one
of them was in commercial.
Wait,
How do you figure the first Super Bowl was carried by no network?
because I thought it like
Or it's just a local, the local TV
no, I'm
station went out and shot it on the shoulder?
No, I'm thinking that maybe it was before TV time, Ernie. Like before we had.
Yeah,
No, there
67.
was television in
Okay, well,
1967.
Yeah,
Well, so
exactly.
clearly they had no bargaining power. If both networks showed the games.
No, I'm just telling you.
That's
these are the
weird, isn't it?
factoids. Imagine all that stuff. Now, Super Bowl ticket cost
$10.
$10.
I took a guess. That was just a stab.
Yeah, but that's pretty.
Wait,
good
you know what we
stat.
should do? I'm gonna make an executive decision for TNT.
Yeah,
How about we show the Super Bowl?
sounds good to me.
If they can show it 2 times back then,
Just not tell anybody.
let's come on. Let's do that.
I agree.
Who's got the Super Bowl this year?
Fox.
So Fox comes on the air,
And we'll simulcast it.
and we'll just kind of find that signal and just take whatever's on like TNT at that moment.
Well,
What would that be?
and we've killed enough people on Law and Order. We can show the Super Bowl
We now interrupt Law and Order to bring you the Super Bowl
because we would be.
exclusively on
We're
TNT.
definitely going to be showing
Where
Law and
Charles
Order.
Barkley will
Yeah.
drop names left and right.
Hey, man, I told you. It is my fault y'all nobodies don't know people.
Whatever.
How many times you dropped Dan Marino?
The Iceman I grew up with.
Oh,
my
dropped
goodness.
he dropped the Iceman on us.
Iceman.
Oh my!
Was that, I've never heard that.
That's his name, the Iceman.
Tim Kiely, our special, as always, a special guest. Well, he's not really a special guest. He's a regular installment
Special's an exaggeration.
Yeah.
He's a guest.
Yeah. Back with more, wrapping things up from the steam room with Chuck's answering machine after this.
There we go.
It's quickly becoming one of the most popular segments of the steam room. It's called Chuck's answering machine.
There you go,
And
brothers.
we welcome your calls. Let's take the first one.
You've reached Charles Barkley. Leave a message, America.
Yo, Chuck, you seem like a guy that knows a lot about food. So with the big game going on this Sunday, what's your go-to football food? Love the show.
Hey, number one, thanks for calling in. You can never go wrong with wings. And I got to admit, I'm a wing aficionado.
Really?
Yeah, I can't eat wings from anywhere.
Uh-huh.
I'll go to places and try wings. If they're not good, I'm not going back there. The problem with most wings, they're not cooked well enough. They're crispy on the outside and too wet on the inside.
You like the drumettes or the flat ones?
I like the drumettes.
Okay.
But I can do some flappers. But drumettes are that's the best part of a wing.
Flappers?
Yeah. Yeah. But wings are a go-to, and I will say this, nachos are perfect sporting event food. You have to be careful though, because I'm a chili, cheese, ground beef, maybe some chicken type guy. Got to be careful with the jalapenos.
No jalapenos on your nachos?
You have to be careful because sometimes they're a little too hot for Chucksters.
Yeah. You know, we have a Super Bowl watching party at our house every year. Just a few neighbors coming over. But yeah, the same thing. You got to have the wings. Got to have maybe some chili dogs. Maybe
chili dog with onions.
Yeah, maybe the chips with the white cheese dip.
Yep. But
with some jalapenos.
Chili dogs, man. You can't go, because I'm a big onion guy.
Yeah.
You give me a hot dog, which I love hot dogs. Give me some really, really hard onions and put some chili on top. Ooh. Oh.
Spicy mustard?
No. I don't put anything else on it.
Spicy mustard and relish for me, but no chili. I'm really not a big chili.
I haven't had relish since I was forced to eat it as a kid.
I think we have another call.
Ernie, Charles, my name's Sam. I've been a loyal bracelet-wearing steamer since 2019. Guys, starting soon, as you know, is the 40th season of Survivor, one of the first shows ever in the reality TV genre. And, Charles, I'm wondering, if you were on any reality show, past or present, which one do you think you would do best at? Besides, of course, America's Next Top Model. We all know that.
Wow, nice
Thanks,
call.
guys.
Wow, number one, thanks again for the call. That's a great question.
A bracelet-wearing steamer since 2019.
That's a great... I'm trying to think.
What was the first real reality show?
Probably Survivor.
Was it?
Yeah, I think Survivor, because, you got that housewife stuff.
Yeah.
You got Naked and Afraid.
How about that Bear Grylls thing where you were taken through the wild?
That would be interesting. I would love to, because two of my favorite shows are Andrew Zimmern, Bizarre Foods. Mm-hmm. I love that. And Guy Fieri's Triple D show. I love looking, and that's the reason I'm a fat guy. I like food. But Andrew Zimmern's show and Guy's show, I watch religiously because some of the stuff these people eat in foreign countries, it's fascinating to me.
Yeah.
So that would be the only thing with Bear Grylls. Like, some of the stuff those people be eating, like, you have to be really damn hungry to eat that.
I could probably get you a spot on a reality show if you're interested.
Well, I'm not.
If Meet the Smiths returns, I got a spot for you.
Oh, yeah. I want to say something so bad right now.
But you don't have to, because we're out of time on the steam room. We want to thank you for spending some time with us today. We want to thank Matt Mauser for the time he took.
Yes.
In the most difficult of circumstances to join us.
And bless all
today.
the families.
Amen to that.